All right, so we're finding the slope. This is a checklist. We're starting a review. Today is a review. Tomorrow's a review. Test Wednesday. That's the current plan. Okay, so slope is our first thing to practice, and here's x and y. Here's an x and a y. And did you know that you start with the 7 and then subtract the 3? 7 minus 3. Raise your hand if you started right. Okay, good. Hallie, what's next? 7 minus 3 then?
4 minus 2.
Yep. And that should have gave you 4 over 2, which reduces to 2. Raise your hand if you had a slope of 2. Okay, any questions? Get how that worked? Okay. Jackson, if you could take that headphone out, I'd appreciate it. Next up is solve a system by graphing. I'm going to give you 2 equations. They'll be easy to graph. And all I need you to do is sketch them. Y equals 2x plus 1. Do you kind of know what that looks like? Make a sketch of what that looks like. Have the y-intercept, have a slope. I don't need it perfect. Just kind of like generally, where is it? Starts with a y-intercept of 1. Slope is 2, which means you rise 2 and run 1. Okay, here's the other equation. A lot of people will goof this up because they'll get confused on which direction it goes. X equals 3. Do you know where that line is? What? I recommend that you just find a spot where x is 3. This is the x-axis, so that's a spot where x is 3. Then figure out where the line must go. It must go through here. And hopefully you can figure out what way it goes. Well, here was the 2x plus 1. It started at 1. It has a slope, rise 2, run 1, rise 2, run 1, rise 2, run 1. Did you know the first one kind of looked like that? Okay. Then x equals 3. That looks kind of like this. I missed it, but it was supposed to hit the 3 right there. That's the line x equals 3. Do they touch? Well, for sure. Touch right there. And the answer is wherever they would touch. We'll give you graph paper on the test. But would you be able to graph? Are you good at graphing? This is a checklist where it's like, oh, maybe we should practice graphing more, Mr. Server. I don't know. You're going to tell me at the end. Is there anything you want to practice more? Elimination. Everybody go off to the side and please write this. 2x minus y equals 6. And x plus y equals 3. Is this one set up well for graphing them? No, because you'd have to solve them for y and it'd be a pain. Is it set up well? Well, actually, you could use either substitution or elimination, but we're doing elimination, so everybody draw a line like that. Draw a line, just like that. Okay, and then, can you just add them straight down and one of them eliminates? Quinn? Yes, you can. The y's will eliminate, so cool. Just do it and then see what you have. These two eliminate each other. So you got 2x plus x is 3x equals 3 and 6 makes 9. So x must equal 3. Raise your hand if you had that one right. Cool. Do you get that that's called elimination? All right. Now here's one that's a little harder elimination. Ready? Write this one down. 4x minus 3y equals 12. Two x minus y equals, let me think. 6. Would you like this for a graphing problem? No, you'd have to solve for y. Would you like this for an eliminate problem? Well, it's not super easy, but it wouldn't be too hard. Hallie, thoughts? What could you do? Good. And would you times the top or the bottom by something? You could do either way, but probably the bottom. And everybody, what are you going to times the bottom by? Well, there's 2 choices. You got to either make the y's cancel or make the x's cancel. So Jackson, what could I multiply the bottom by? -2 totally works. I like it. Now, was there another way to do it? Yeah. You could have multiplied the whole bottom by -3 would have also worked. And then something else would have canceled. So this is a good way, though, because look at how these are going to cancel.
Why'd you write -3?
I said 3, and that's what I said. I'm sorry. My bad. I was thinking about what the other choice was, and then I wrote the other choice. Sorry. You got to multiply them all by the same thing, though, so good catch. Pausing for a second. So I hope you actually were able to finish. These two are opposites, +4 and -4, so they're gone. This was a -3. I hope you noticed that. That was a -3, and this is a +2, a -3y, and +2y, because there's two negatives there, makes -y. And 12 and -12 makes 0. A lot of people don't like 0 because they get confused by it. If -y equals 0, then what's regular y equal to? -0. But that's the same thing, so it's just 0. Who knew y was 0? Good, you were right. Then what do? You substitute it back in. That's up here. You could take either equation. I'm personally using this one. I don't care if you use the other one, that's fine. 4x minus 3y equals 12, and then you stick in y is 0, so that goes right here. And then 0 times anything makes it disappear. And if you can't solve 4x equals 12, then you've got a problem. X equals 3. So, if x equals 3 is the answer, why would I get it wrong if I just wrote x equals 3?
Because it's like you're forgetting the y.
Yes, so you have to have the x and the y, so it would be 3, comma 0. That's how you write your final answer on the test. Got to give the x and the y. You getting that so far? Okay, then the last kind is called substitution. So let's do a couple substitutions. 2x plus y equals 11. Write that one down. See, really? Write that one down. 2x plus y equals 11. Okay, and then underneath it, we're going to write x minus y. Let me think. It's 4. That's a system of equations. Would it be good for graphing? Just yes or no? No, because you'd have to solve for y. Would it be good for elimination? Could those y's eliminate each other pretty quick and easy? Yeah, so that would have been good, but don't eliminate, because I want you to practice the last kind, which is called substitution. Even though elimination is the best one here, because those y's would drop out, let's do substitution. Everybody add y to both sides. You have to do, on one of the problems, they are going to force you to solve for something like this and use substitution. Now, what the heck do I do with the x equals 4 plus y? Well, you substitute it. Ian, do you know how to do that?
You put it in place of the x, so 2 times x.
We're putting it right here. Very good. So 2 times what?
2 times
4
4 plus y.
plus y. And then it's plus y equals 11. Do you get that can be solved? And when you get that solved, you'll have y. Then go stick it in the other equation. Everybody try that. Solve the blue equation I just circled. That's the most complicated algebra, which means it's the hardest, which means if you have a choice, don't use substitution. If they're set up for graphing, because they're both solved for y, really easy to solve for y, graph them. We'll have graph paper. If you can eliminate, eliminate. It's 10 times faster. But how did that happen? Where the heck did this 4 plus y come from? Right there. It says x is 4 plus y, because we solved for it. We had to do a first step to get x alone here. But then it was alone.
Would you get the same answer?
Yep, you get the same answer if you eliminate it. And yeah, sometimes you get to pick. On the test, sometimes you get to pick any method you want. And then you should just know that if they're solved for y, then graphing is good. If they have like numbers right above each other that'll cancel out, then elimination is good. And substitution it's hard to make the description of why this is good for substitution, but substitution just always works. You just have to solve for one variable, and this was easy to solve for. This x, I only had to do one step, and then the x was alone. So if it's easy to solve for something, that's the reason to use substitution. All right, let's see if you did it right. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times the y is 2y. Plus y equal to 11. That's really 3y. 8 plus 3y equal to 11. Subtracting 8 from both sides, I'm doing this up, which is really weird, but you can do it. 8 minus 8 is gone, so 3y equals, what is 11 minus 8? 3. So what's y equal to? 1, yay. Get how that worked? Okay, that was called substitution. Now what do you have to do at the very end? You got to figure out x. Everybody take a second if you haven't already. Take one of these two equations right here. The red arrows are telling you this or this. And now that you know y is 1, figure out what the other one has to be. So I'm going to take this one and just show you, in case you don't get this last part. X minus y equaled 4, but I know y is 1. So I'm going to replace the y with a 1. And I'm going to add 1, and I'm going to add 1, and x equals 5. There's your final answer, 5, 1. And that is all of the meat of the test. Then there's one last thing, which is writing equations. That's the hardest thing. Let's see if you remember how to write equations. Because it's on our concept list. I'll show you where it is. Writing an equation of the line when given 2 points. Oh, we should do that one too. But then writing and solving systems from a scenario. I should do both of these. But this one, when given 2 points, I better do that quick because that's like a really important basic. If I give you 2, 5 and I give you 7, 9, if I just asked for the slope, we already practiced that. That'd be easy. But do you remember this? If you do, what's in the parentheses at the end? Remember it?
X minus X1?
Yes. You should memorize that one because you'll use it on the test. Because the slope is, which of these letters is the slope? It's the M. So you know how to find the slope. So everybody figure out the slope, and then one of your points. Let's just all agree to use 2, 5. Because then your answer will be the same looking as me. You could have picked either point though. On the test, I'll have to give you credit if you pick either point. I don't care. But today, right now, please use the 2, 5 and put it there and there.
Are you going to give us equations today or?
Second. This and this is where this and this go. And then the slope, you'll have to figure out yourself. Okay, am I going to give you on the test, we give you, I'll tell you exactly what we give you. When we say point slope, that's this one, and we will give you that. That is called point slope. And we will show you that on the test. You don't have to memorize it, actually. My bad. I forgot. We do give it to you on the test. I personally am a meanie pants and I would have made you memorize it. But in the end, we have to all agree on the tests. So I would get voted down on that one. Most people like to give kids this. Here's the y equals mx plus b. Do you guys remember that one? They want to give you that too, so that'll be on the test. And that's called something else. Do you remember what that's called? Slope intercept. Very good. And then last but not least, I'm give you an example of it. That's called something form. Remember? Standard form. Okay. But which is the best when you have 2 points? Well, then you can get the slope really easy. So use point slope. You have a point, And then just go find the slope and you'll have point slope. The intercept isn't so easy to find, but I'm gonna pick this point, and the x goes here, so that's 2, and the y goes here, so that's a 5, and I leave the y minus 5 there, and the slope, somebody must have figured out the slope by now. What? So 9 minus the 5 gave you 4, over 7 minus the 2 gave you 5. 4/5? You guys get 4/5? Good. Then there's your final answer. I know this doesn't look like a nice clean answer, but that's good enough, because that's what's called point slope. I've talked to the teachers of calculus, which is where some of you will never take calculus. You'll be like, I'm sick of math, I don't want to take any more math, I'm done. But some of you will want to take calculus. Like if you want to be an engineer, which you totally can be. Do you need more engineers in the world? I have 2 kids that decided to be engineers. The third one was actually going to be an engineer and then changed his mind. He went to business. But you could be an engineer and you'll get a job too, like guaranteed. There's a lot of degrees out there that you can't like guarantee you get a job. If you're an engineer,
Engineering is really hard.
you say that, but it's not like it's impossible. Just, you have to work at it. Yes?
Is it possible to use point slope to convert to slope intercept?
Yes, totally. So let me show you how you do that. So let's say you had this answer, and I'm going to rewrite it over here. Y minus 5 equaled 4/5 x minus 2. And the question was, could you take that and turn it into slope intercept? Yes, but it's a little bit of a pain. That has to distribute here, which is pretty easy. It's just 4/5 x. But that has to be multiplied by that, which is a pain in the butt. Other than that, it's not that hard, because then from there you would just add 5 to both sides. The plus 5 here and a plus 5 there. And then y is alone now. And it equals 4/5 x, and then I got to do the painful part. 4/5 times 2 would be, this is like 2 over 1. So the 4 times the negative 2 makes -8 over 5 times 1 is 5. -8/5. And then I add 5 to that. There, by special request, is slope intercept. There's the slope, and the y-intercept is that. I told you finding the intercept is kind of a pain in the butt. So let me think. That's actually -1 2/3 plus 5. And then I think if I had $5, but then I spent $1 2/3, now I'd have $3 1/3 left, I think. I think that's right, isn't it? There we go. So yes, you can. And if we gave you one on the test that was that hard, everybody'd get it wrong. But if I gave you one that was this easy, I hope that everybody could get it right. Everybody write this down. Y minus 5 equals 2 times x plus 4. Can you multiply that one out and solve for y? That's one of those skills where you're taking it from point slope to when you're done, it'll look like this, which is called slope intercept. Solve it for y. Last one, and then we get to go to lunch. Try hard. Stay focused. One more question. You got this. Gianna, how did you start solving it for y? All right, we can add 5 to both sides. Just be careful that you don't mess with the parenthesis yet. Then we're good so far. Y equaled, Avia, did you distribute out the 2? Let's do it. What's 2 times the x make?
So 2x.
Yep.
And then plus 8.
And then plus the 5. Can you do that in your head quick?
It's going to be 13.
13 is correct. And there it is. All right. It's lunchtime. Your homework will be like that. And then we'll have a practice test tomorrow, and then the real test on Wednesday.